Hello everyone. So today we will discuss some facts about sensors. Sensors constitute the first stage in the IoT architecture. Sensor is the main entity which is responsible to sense the physical quantity, to sense the physical variable in the surrounding. Suppose we take example of smart home, and you have to measure the temperature of room. Then in that case you will use any sensor which measure the physical quantity, that is temperature, and then convert that quantity to electrical quantity. So here the point is that the sensor is the first stage of any IoT based application. Now, the function of sensors in IoT can have similarity with the sense organs of human body. This is already discussed how they are somewhat similar. And in this slide, you can see the different types of sensors available to us that can be used in IoT based applications. For example, alcohol sensor, for example, ultrasonic sensor. This can be used for the measurement of distance. This is for light distance. This LDR sensor. This is gas sensor. You can measure the concentration of gas in the surrounding environment. Rain sensors, and so on. Now, we will here you can see the simple block diagram of sensor. In previous slide, here you can see the sensors are available in the form of, this is also IC, in the form of package. Sensors inside this sensor, suppose I am taking example of this ultrasonic sensor. Inside this sensor, there are some blocks, some components. So there are different components, different blocks which are responsible for the action. What action? That is conversion of physical quantity into the electrical quantity. So what are those blocks? Here you can see this is your physical medium. Suppose we are taking example of a smart home. So we are making an application or any prototype for a smart home. So inside the room, you want to measure the temperature of that room. So this is the physical quantity that you want to measure. Now, this physical quantity, that is temperature, is sensed by the sensing element. The second component inside this sensor is sensing element. Here, in case if we want to measure temperature, the sensing element is resistance. Here, sensing element is a resistance. Now, the property of this sensing element will be changed as compared to temperature. So, if the temperature of room is increased, the resistance of this sensing element will decrease or increase. It depends on the type of sensor or type of sensing element you have chosen. If you have selected thermistor, then in that case, if you increase the temperature, the resistance of thermistor will be decreased. So Here, what is the meaning? Change in the temperature will produce change in the resistance of this sensing element. So, change in the temperature produce change in the resistance of the sensing element, and that change is this change produces equivalent change in the voltage. So here physical quantity is converted into the voltage quantity. Now again from here information is passed to next testing. So in every sensor, what is the common thing? In every sensor there is one sensing element which produce the change in a specific parameter or specific characteristic according to the physical parameter of the real world environment. Here I have taken the example of temperature, but as here you can measure the, suppose you want to measure the of level in the water tank, then in that case you can use capacitance as a sensing element. Here you have used resistance. Here you have used thermistor or a resistor. Here you will use capacitor. And which property? Capacitance. According to the level, there is a variation in the capacitance. So like this, all sensors have some sensing element which responds as there is change in the physical environment, physical variable. So this is the sensor. So basically, sensor is a device which converts physical quantity to electrical quantity that is measurable. So next, here we will discuss few examples of sensors such as BMP280. These are few more examples of sensors like analog sensor, digital sensor, ultrasonic sensor, touch sensor, sound sensor, light sensor. This light sensor measures the light intensity. Ultrasonic sensor will measure the distance. If you want to measure touch, then in that case, you will use touch sensor. For sound sensor. And it measure pressure in dB. Here you can see one more classification of sensor, that is analog and discrete. Again, discrete is divided into two, binary and digital. So in next video, we will see the detailed function of these sensors and their sensing element and how they are responding to the physical environment. Thank you.